Hello! This week's sim racing video is MX5s again. I am going to do the Porsche video hopefully, but the MX5s, the calling was too strong. This week it's at Oran Park, a great Australian race circuit, no longer in place sadly, now a housing estate, but it's a great little circuit, really tight technical, a bit like Anglesey in the UK I would say. Because it's not a circuit that many people know in the UK, and that's where most of my viewers are, I thought we'll have an on-board lap to show the layout. And this on-board lap is actually my qualifying lap that I did, which put me in 7th place on the grid. So here's the start-finish straight. Pretty fast. First corner is kind of a lift and chuck it in, and then getting on the brakes as you go into it. It's a left-hander here, and then it's hard on the brakes, car squirrels around really badly, go down through the gears into first. Didn't do that great that time, went a bit wide on the exit there. Next up we've got a 90 right, again brakes down into first to get the rear end to turn in a bit, using the gears to rotate the car, and then another 90 right, again down into first to try and get that gear change to bring the back end of the car around a bit, and then we're powering up through second over the bridge that we went under earlier, bit of a lift, chuck it in, bit too wide on that time really, could get it in a bit tighter, and then a brake and then a down change into second. Bit off camber, that one's quite tricky, and then we go through this series of left-handers. This one again down to second, tuck it in. Then this is great, fast third gear up and over chicane, and then we head down towards the left-hander, which is the last corner. Again down to second, down to first, try and get the nose tucked in and the back end slide around a bit, and there we have a lap of Oran Park. Here we are then on board for lap 1. I'm going to show the first probably half of lap 1, the second half is a little bit quiet. So here we go, we get a pretty rubbish start to be honest. You can hear the two cars on the outside here. You really want to be on the inside for turn 1 on this circuit, because if you're on the outside you just get clattered out wide. So here I'm trying to take a really out wide line, trying to avoid being tangled up, and actually the guys who I was trying to avoid ended up getting tangled up anyway. So immediately we lost a few places and then we gained them back. I think we ended up net 7th where we started, to be honest. But this guy not got a great amount of speed, takes a bit too much curb there, and here's an opportunity. So we take it down the inside, drop into first, job done, corner claimed. And then up in front we see someone else has gone wide, had a semi-spin, and that's it, another position gained. So at this point we've gone from 7th to 5th. So we'll look at it from the outside. So here you can see, terrible start really. It's really tricky to get these MX5s off the line. There's a real tricky balance between first and the clutch and trying to get a little bit of wheel spin and get it going, or it bogging down. But as I said, tried to keep out wide into turn 1 because of the carnage. Let these two guys through. They then had a little coming together and there's a bit of a concertina effect. A few cars taken out. So yeah, we're still in 7th really. Heading down here, so he didn't have enough speed, he takes a bit too much curb, get nice and early on the throttle and go down on the inside, job done, and then we'll just see the spinner appearing, there he is, and we've gone round on the outside. And that was a pretty eventful first few corners of lap 1. The rest of the lap was kind of pretty sedate really. You've got to manage the tyres on these MX5s in the first lap. They can be pretty slippy and it's really easy to make a mistake and go off and basically ruin your race on the first lap. So just being really careful to kind of get the apexes right, don't run too wide, don't overdrive the car on the first lap, which is classic me, generally what I do. Yeah, there we go. That is the end of lap 1. Here we are a couple of laps later. The pack in front's got away a bit, the pack behind's caught me. These guys were much quicker than me on a lap by lap basis, and they started to pressure me into mistakes and they caught me even faster. And here we can see I'm a bit all over the place. I'm not really hitting my apexes that well. I missed that one, and at this point I decided he was coming down the inside, give him a wide berth, let him go through. There was no point fighting for the position. He was clearly faster. Dropped down to 6th, which is kind of at the start of the race. I would be happy to finish 6th. That's where you get some iRacing gain. It's the halfway point in the grid. and I was kind of comfortable with that. I thought, right, now the plan, keep 7th behind me. That's key. I don't want to drop down to 7th because that's losing some iRating, and it's the bottom half of the finishers. He kept the pressure up, and I kept making a few silly mistakes. He's already starting to show his nose down the inside at a few of the corners. So at this point I'm just trying to hang on to this position, getting a bit flustered. And then we come into the last corner here. And the guy in 5th has spun. Couldn't believe it. We're just going to pop onto an inboard view now to have a look from what I saw. And you could essentially see we're chasing him down here. Well, not really chasing him down, he was actually getting away. And he puts a couple of wheels on the grass while on the throttle, and that's it, the car's just gone. I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. It's really easy to do. And yeah, so there we go, back up into 6th place. But the guy behind was really hassling me. Now we're going to pop forward here and look at the leading pair. So this is 1 and 2. They're coming into the first corner here. And the guy in first, he just runs wide, and it's pretty easy to do. I think he was being pressured, but he ran wide, and he goes bonk straight into the barrier. And you can see that he's done a lot of damage to that car. But he's nursing it across the grass, getting it back onto the circuit, and there comes through what were 3rd and 4th, but now 2nd and 3rd. And just behind the wounded MX5, you can see a certain grey, white, and blue MX5 driven by this idiot. So I've seen him, you know, I saw dust, I saw a car that I didn't recognise, so I thought, oh, is this someone I'm lapping? But looking at the relatives, I could see actually that it was a car on the lead lap, and it was going pretty slowly. So I thought, excellent, right, well, here's another place then. So coming down through the second half of the lap, and his car's just really broken, he can't keep it going in a straight line, he's gone off. And that's it, we're in 4th. So now we're riding on board with 3rd place. Coming up to the first corner, we watch 2nd place turning in here, and he's really early on the brakes. So the guy in 3rd just basically seizes the opportunity, goes around the outside, he pulls it off pretty much, and then there's a clattering noise and it's all over. He goes off, and you see me go past now to take 3rd place any second. There I go, and that's me up to 3rd. Now if we watch on the overhead, you can see what happens. He braked early, 3rd place goes around the outside, and then 2nd place sort of runs him off the road. Sometimes in these positions it's hard to know from the driver's seat in game if someone's on your outside. It was a little bit unfair, I think, probably a little bit more than a racing incident, but there we go. And that's that. That's me up to 3rd place. There was a reasonable space up to 2nd. I wasn't going to catch him, and there was a pretty good space back to 3rd as well, 4th rather. So at this point, last couple of laps, I just tried to keep it clean, consistent, drive it at 9/10 and just not throw it into a barrier or anything else silly, which, you know, pretty common for me. And yeah, that was it. It was a great race, and like I said earlier, it's a great little circuit. I really love it. It's got some great tight corners, it's got some really nice flowing corners. I'm reasonably competitive lap time wise, not top split competitive, but you know, I can do a reasonable lap time that gets me in the upper splits, and I've just had great fun racing it this week. So yeah, there we go, there's the finish. 7th to 3rd via a few incidents. You can pause there if you want to have a look at the stats of the actual race. Now I'm going to try and do the Porsche race tomorrow. Today's Saturday, I recorded this. Tomorrow's Sunday, and we'll see how that goes. But I also need to do some practice, as me and a couple of friends are doing the 10 hours of Suzuka special event next Saturday. So lots of practice time required. But thanks for watching. Yeah, next video might be bonus content of a second video this week of the Porsches. Thanks very much, and take care.